Okay, hello. I didn't realize I'd be back. So because I have a lot of time on my hands lately, I've been doing like certain meditations and certain type of spiritual detoxes. And I remember hearing Mooji, Mooji. His name is Mooji. Okay. If you hear that, I'm going to explain why I am talking, why that alarm is going off. Okay, because that's what inspired me to do this upload now. Mooji talked about how to separate from the mind, and there's another person that I've listened to that said that too. To separate from the mind. He said because the mind needs you. You don't need the mind. Okay? So I am coming to this conclusion that the real enemy is the mind. I'm coming to the conclusion that the real enemy is the mind. Our real enemy, I'll say my real enemy. My real enemy is the mind. I remember seeing titles with Mooji talk about mind attacks. Why is that when you're trying to become more of your spiritual self, you're becoming more spirit, you get a higher vibration? Why is it that the mind seems to want to attack you? All kind of things happen, and people want to call it the devil, right? It's the mind. The mind wants to make you feel like you need it. It wants to cause all kind of problems. It wants to cause all kind of sickness. This is what the mind is doing. Now, I'm going to tell you why I decided to upload this and record this, why that alarm is going off. Because while I was laying down with my eyes closed, I was doing a little bit of meditation, and it came to me that what Mooji said, that the mind needs you. You don't need the mind, right? The mind needs you. You don't need the mind. And as soon as I decided to separate from the mind, that alarm went off. It's never done that before. So I'm going to let the alarm keep going off while I'm talking. That alarm, nothing happened this whole time. As soon as I separate from the mind, that alarm went off to put me back in my mind. The mind is the real enemy. The mind is the enemy. It's my enemy. I'm not going to say it's anybody else's enemy, because if the person is not there, if they haven't reached that revelation yet, then I might sound crazy to them. But the mind is the enemy. Everything that's happening right now, I don't care if it's the mask, I don't care if it's President Biden, every tyranny, dictatorship, everything is in the mind. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get emotional. All this stuff is playing out in the mind. It's all happening in the mind, including the food. This did not start happening. This alarm, and I realize it's because the battery is going dead. I get that. Okay, in the physical sense, I can say, oh, the battery is going dead. It didn't do that. It did not do that until I decided to separate from the mind. When I started to separate from the mind, that alarm went off. That alarm went off, and it never has done that before. But I can lower myself down into the physical and say, oh, it just needs a new battery. Okay, yeah, I can lower myself down to the physical and say that, right? But the point is, it wasn't until I decided, when Mooji's words went through my mind, when he said the mind needs you to survive. The mind, M-I-N-D, because I know my nose is a little stuffy. The M-I-N-D, the mind needs you to survive. You don't need it. As soon as I really thought about those words, and I decided to separate from the mind, that freaking alarm went off to put me back in the mind, to put me back, to stop, to make me stop. That is when I realized that the mind is the real enemy, and everything we see today with everything that's going on is playing out in the mind. The mind is doing this. Now, obviously, you can raise to a higher consciousness, right? You can get into a higher mind. I get that. But altogether, the best thing is to work on pure awareness, honestly. Because to get into a higher mind, it's really just a higher state of mind than what we're currently in, right? Or what you currently in, because I don't know where you are. But that's still good too, because it happens in stages, right? You get into a higher mind. It's a higher mind that is a lot more knowledgeable and advanced than where you were before. So it's just steps, right? It's a process. So yeah, but a higher mind is still the mind. Okay? That means it's still an illusion. But you get into the point of pure awareness. The goal is pure awareness. The goal is to release all of the indoctrination to the point where you realize that none of this stuff was ever real. But anyway, I don't want to stay on long. I just wanted to say that, and I will talk later.